This week's hot topic is probably going to be a long one, so bear with us. It's on the merits of Spotify. Is it good or is it evil when it comes to the industry and for bands coming through? Now, Nikki, you've been all over this one, so what are your thoughts on Spotify? Good, bad, or otherwise?
My personal opinion, I think it's evil. It annoys me that there's a monthly subscription fee. I am yet to meet an artist in real life who actually makes decent coin from this. I have seen so much arguments for and against, but to me, intrinsically, you should buy the song or buy the album. No one is ever going to buy a CD when you can stream it on demand whenever the hell you like. It upsets me. Mm-hmm. It does.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, I don't have a lot to say because I don't really know a lot about the topic. But as far as Spotify and Apple Music and all that goes, like, I use Apple Music for pretty much everything because we review so many albums that if I was to buy them all, I'd be the most broke bloke in the world. I'd be living in a cardboard box on the side of a road. So I use it for that. But being a musician, I'm okay with it as long as the musicians get paid what they deserve, which is not 0.000001, right? That's bullshit. They should be getting paid much more than that. So that's my issue with it. If they're getting paid a decent amount of money, then fine. But if they're not, then it's bullshit.
Yep. And Spotify are being sued, aren't they, Andrew?
They're being sued currently, I believe, for using music without the license to use the music. So it's more of a copyright claim versus a royalty payment kind of a claim. So I'm not sure of the particular details on that. I'll go and do some research on it, but it's more of a we didn't say you could play that on your platform.
Interesting.
Complaint. It's worth a few $1 billion, so it's a big lawsuit. It's huge. It's a potential game changer.
Napster for 2018.
That was actually my relativity to it. I just feel like it's legalised Napster. That's how I feel about it.
Well, that's what it became eventually.
Yeah.
Well, Napster is now a legal streaming service anyway.
Yeah. I held out from streaming services for a very long time simply because I don't want to be paying for something that I don't own. And at the end of the day, you do a monthly payments and you get fuck all. Sure, you can, if I'm going to use that money, I'd go and buy a CD from a local band that I like. But, recently I just started using Google Music because it's convenient. I can hear albums that we do for the show. But if I do like something, I do spend a shitload of money on buying CDs from the stuff that I listen to like. But if I'm going to do that, I do go to YouTube because bands have their own individual pages on that. So they get whatever YouTube likes or whatever. It's their own entity, their own social media. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to do something that, I'll go for the band's Facebook page, keep it personal to them. If it's at a local gig, I'll buy their music there, or something that's they control, rather than giving something to some global entity that takes all their money and gives the band fuck all. It's convenient, yes, but in the end, convenience leads to inferior products for everyone. That's just my little 2 cents on it.
It's a tricky one. As a consumer, I get it. I can understand why people want to use it. It's, as people that consume music differently to the way I do, I can completely understand why they use it. I don't like the model in a lot of ways, and that's probably, we can't say, we should go back to buying CDs because it's never going to happen. We're kidding ourselves if we do.
A lot of people do. And vinyl.
A lot of people do, but they don't.
But it's the oldies that are keeping it for nostalgia. The young people aren't doing it.
So, you look at different models that are out there and the way people are consuming their music. In the US, of course, you've got satellite radio and Sirius FM and all those kind of things. Now, that's interesting. Still a monthly subscription fee, but you listen to radio shows. The thing my issue with Spotify is when you're putting stuff on at random, you're listening to the playlist that they're choosing.
Yeah, I don't.
And that's where it kind of gets up my nose. Like they're dictating what we listen to, and I don't like that. But
how are they generated?
Look, there is a future for it. It's not going away. If we don't embrace it in one way, shape, or form, it's any music you're trying to get out there yourself will die. It's a tricky one. I don't know what the answer is. There will be an answer in there somewhere, and I'm sure it will sort itself out in the long term. But for the time being, I just think the model's wrong. I don't mind the idea of it, but the model is wrong.
For first, on my side of it, now I'm going to be devil's advocate here. I'm going to say it's a great thing, and I firmly believe in this. Now, I know everyone's talking about the money side of it, and I completely understand and agree with that, but that's more to do with the labels than it is to do with the artists. If you sign piss poor deals as an artist where you sign away all your rights to your royalty payments, especially to the digital platform, which is the most common thing they sign away because no one thinks it's worth anything, it is worth something, so keep all your rights.
Are people still doing that though? Because digital isn't a new thing anymore. You'd have to be a fucking idiot to do that.
People still do it because they have the support of a major label. You understand?
Yeah.
When Sony are throwing money at you to do something, you'll sign whatever the fuck you want
You don't
because
read
you
the fine
think
print.
you're going to get to be the world's next big star.
But the labels are now in a precarious position because once they create a big artist, now Spotify can go to them directly and say, we'll take your new material and cut the label out completely, which is
That's
not necessarily a bad thing either.
No, the labels are dying slow death.
Yeah.
The big labels. We're
There's
going to
only
go
a
more
few
to
left now
boutique.
anyway.
We're going to go more to there's only I think 3 major labels that now umbrella own all the other labels.
Yeah.
We're going to be seeing more. This all goes back to Napster and goes back to everything else, and this is all determined by the market. And this is what people need to understand at the business side of it all, is that it's always going to be and always will be dictated to by the market. The genie is out of the fucking bottle. You are not going to get rid of streaming. It's done.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is done. It is here for life, okay? And I'm telling you right now that if you think that you're going to have your Motley Crues and your Metallicas and all those things of the old days, you're not. That's done too. What you're going to have now is that if bands are smart, the online world is the infinite platform, okay? This is where it gets scary because you've got the American net neutrality repeal going through now.
Yeah,
that's bad.
Big time scary.
That's bad. We need to keep net neutrality. That's the most important thing going right now. That's the next battle, not Spotify, not Apple Music, it's net neutrality is the next big battle as far as I'm concerned. That's what dictates everything that happens to us as a culture, as a race, as all this sort of stuff for the next 20 years. But back on to Spotify, yes, what you were saying about it dictates what you listen to. That said, because I use it so often for what we do, I have found bands that have only 1,500 followers on Facebook through using Spotify.
Yeah.
So if you use it right as a consumer, it does use the algorithm the right way for you. I've found bands that have next to no fucking following through Spotify. These are bands that haven't heard of us, we've never heard of them, but I've heard their music through a platform because I use the platform. So that alone, it has merit. It's the biggest thing that everyone says about it is the way that bands get paid. Right, that is the concern. Okay, if there's another concern with the platform, then tell me what it is. But am I right? Is that the concern that everyone seems to feel is
the money part?
It's the money part of it, right?
Definitely.
See, I use YouTube the same thing. You got the recommendations on the site. I wouldn't have the first fucking idea how to use Spotify to get recommendations for new bands.
But I can teach you how to do that. Like that's not. It's
That's
just a
the
matter of
thing, though.
using
How
the
many people
platform.
want to learn that?
But
I
it's
can
not
tell you
hard
lots
to learn it.
because I did some research on this because I'm very passionate about it, and the amount of particularly the younger guys that are saying they are finding their bands, yes, through YouTube recommendations and Spotify. Spotify was huge when I was talking to people, and I spoke to a lot of people, and not just
It has
friends,
a huge market share.
They are finding bands because if you like this, others also listen too.
Yeah.
And I will absolutely give it its dues as a tool to create exposure to people who might not come across you. I will absolutely pay that side of
But
it.
this comes down to what people place the value of a song to be at, okay? And that is the core argument for all these things when it comes to Napster, when it comes to Spotify, when it comes to Apple Music, when it comes to all... If you think that Apple Music are treating their artists any better, you're fucking kidding yourself, okay? If you think YouTube do, you're fucking kidding yourself, okay? You have to get over 1,000 views or 100,000 views to see any coin on YouTube whatsoever. I've done the research on that. It's the amount of volume through what you've created versus what actual income you make out of it is fucking pitiful. And that's across all the platforms, all of the online platforms, period. It's not about one thing or another. What artists need to make a choice now about is if they're going to be a good artist or if they're going to be famous.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to be famous, you'll make the money fast. If you want to be a good artist and you want to do the work, you'll make a living. There's a big difference there. And once you take that mindset and apply that to how you use Spotify and other platforms like that, it changes the game from the perspective of the artist. You can't sit there and say, if you want to be a millionaire, you've got to go and get famous. Not got to be good, not going to be a good artist, not write good songs. You've got to go and get famous, which means going on things like The Voice, being a YouTube instant viral hit. Be the shit that we all can every fucking week, okay? That's how you get rich fast. If you want to build a long-term career, I think personally the bands need to be smarter about things because The music itself has already been devalued by the market. Okay, you cannot reclaim value once the market has devalued it. Tell me anywhere that's ever happened. It won't happen. You cannot sit there and say consumers should buy CDs. No, the consumer shouldn't. The consumer will do whatever the fuck they want because they have the ability to do so and no one's going to take it away from them. If Spotify isn't doing it, fucking someone else will. It's there because the consumer demands a streaming service. And by the way, for the record, when you buy a CD, you're not actually owning it. You're getting a license to listen to it.
Yeah.
It's
you own
difference.
the actual CD, you don't own the music.
Yeah, and you can't play it in public. There are so many caveats on the actual
True.
ownership of a CD that people don't think about when they have this argument.
Yeah.
It's actually not that different when it comes down to what you actually own when you pay for it. You've got a physical thing that you can handle in your hands. Okay, fine, you pay for the cost of production. More money in theory goes to the pocket of the band. But again, the labels are taking the market share. Spotify is predominantly owned by labels. Hence it's too big to fail argument, and there's a whole lot of stuff on that too. But for me, it comes down to my whole core argument has been and will be for years to come is that the market will always dictate the value of what anything is worth. It can be Bitcoin, it can be fucking music, it can be movies, it can be whatever the fuck you want. The reason you think that, for example, Netflix platform, the reason why that went so well is because it's on demand. It has the ability to create things like if Spotify got into artist development, that would change the game.
Definitely.
I'd like to see Spotify get into artist development.
Yes.
That sort of stuff would be more important. Like Netflix create TV shows and create movies.
Yeah,
I'd like to see Spotify move into that
That'd be
direction. That would be good.
How many of the tribute episodes that we did that the band never broke until like their 4th or 5th album? That doesn't happen these days.
No,
but
because
something got behind that fucking band.
But the thing is, all the labels now, which is what bastardizes the industry anyways, because we literally, and I've talked about this to promoters, to also, this is why this topic's going forever, but because I've got so much info in my head, because what happens is now, on the release cycle of stuff, we see the emails, you and me in particular, we get them, and you get literally 40 to 140 songs dropped on any one particular day.
Yeah.
Okay,
And you look at it and go, what the hell?
and so the labels are literally fucking up their own market. They are shotgunning the entire market.
And 2 weeks
saying,
later, that band's completely gone.
And that's why we don't get artist development anymore.
Yeah.
And that's where it's going to become a more niche thing for the labels to become more A&R again versus becoming a big fucking umbrella label thing. Because bands, if they're smart, will do everything themselves. They learn to web design, they learn to video edit, they learn to sound edit, they learn to do all these things themselves because the more in-house you are, the more overhead you reduce out of what you're doing. The less control the labels have over you, which means you negotiate your own terms. Which means when you sign up to Spotify, for example, or to Apple Music or to YouTube or whatever else, you're taking the cut directly. You're not having a third party in the middle. And that's where it all goes wrong in my opinion, is because Spotify can actually pay good money. It's just that before it gets to the artist, how many people are taking their hand out of it first?
That's right. Exactly.
And so if the artists decide to be artists, they need it. And this is where Patreon and those things are changing the game as well. You've got to understand that if you want things to work in general, I'm going on, but if you want things to work in general, you have to be one with your audience for starters, and which means if you decide that I'm going to be old school, I'm not going to do Spotify, I'm not going to do Apple Music, how many kids under 20 do you think are going to hear your song?
No one's
they're
going
not
to
gonna
hear. That's it. You're dead.
Because kids aren't going to go searching for something that they don't already know exists.
I've spoken to our son recently. Where does he find his music? YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify.
That's it.
Same
Word
with my
of
daughter. Same.
Okay, so it's online or it's word of mouth. No one hands around CDs anymore. No one hands around mixtapes anymore. No one hands around a fucking mix of vinyl for all I give a shit. All the things you buy, the band has to make a product that's worth selling to the consumer. We are in the world's biggest state of flux, the music industry. We have been for some time and it's going to continue going for some time. But Spotify is not the devil in this. Spotify is actually one of the good things to come out of it because the consumer gets access to the music. And bands and artists need to understand that the music is not what's going to make them their money anymore. I'm sorry, your music is your business card. And that is the industry now.
It is.
If you think that someone's going to... If you get fans that are loyal and you can break it down to being things like, okay, if you want to turn over $100,000 a year industry, which is something you guys saw about right now, the thing is, right, not a bad idea. No fucking execution behind it, though, and that's the problem where it falls down. Okay, so you break it down. I've had this chat to so many bands when they come through for interviews too. $100,000 a year means you know 100 people spending $1,000 on you a year, and you can extrapolate that down and down and down and down and down. So you need to create content, you need to create product that you get enough people to buy and do those things, but you need to get it to enough people first. And if you have 10,000 followers on Facebook, for example, like we've got just over that now, you might get 100 people spending on you. You might get 100. So you're looking at what, 1 to 10% of your market, of your market share, are going to actually spend money on you. Spotify is a good way to just supplement a little bit of that, because you're getting something as opposed to nothing out of your product, and it doesn't cost you anything really to do it. It costs you a little bit, not much. And then out of that, you've got the chance to reach how many people if you use it more as a social engagement platform as opposed to just being an avenue for your music to be on. So link it to your private accounts, use it as a promotional tool, spread the word on your social media channels about your Spotify account, because then people will go there and listen to your music anyway. Artists that are cutting anything and everything digital out of their world, or any one facet of the digital universe out of their repertoire or their arsenal, are killing themselves. It's silly. It's not going to work. It's my opinion, and I know that I'm going to get lots of people to disagree with me, but the market will determine the outcome. And if you think that by not being on Spotify you're going to win the market over, they're not even going to fucking hear of you before you're buried. That's the reality of it as far as I'm concerned. And you can sit there and go, fucking Spotify and fucking streaming and fucking Napster and fucking this. It's done. The battle is lost. So how do you then turn a negative into a positive? And that's what people need to start thinking about. That's why I say Spotify should really look at development of artists.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I
like what Netflix do with developing TV shows and movies. If that happened, that would be fucking amazing. Same with Apple Music. But I reckon that is the next step, because they can probably go and challenge the label owners at that point in time.
They don't need the labels.
Yeah. No.
They don't need them at all.
And again, they can develop stars and develop their own things. But Spotify is also much more than just a streaming platform. It now shows you when bands are touring when they're nearby. Our Extravaganza event was linked on Spotify accounts. So you've got to understand there's so much more to this platform than meets the eye, and it allows you can sell t-shirts on Spotify now. It links to merch that's on sale. So you can have current deals on Spotify. You can actually find this is the current deal you got. So you can actually link your merch on Spotify. Spotify is now virtually becoming a one-stop shop. It's all getting amalgamated. So if you're not on board with it, how are you going to compete with it?
Shit, I better get a Spotify account.
don't have a Spotify account either. I use Apple Music.
But this is where
I don't have one at all, to be
everyone that
honest.
sits there and bags Spotify. Yes, I understand the market share from the labels and the money and the pittance they pay. But if you're only getting 100 plays a month, who the fuck are you to think you're going to get paid for that anyway?
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, and I don't mean that to be disrespectful to the artist, but if you're only getting 100 plays a month, you can go through and find an artist and how many plays a month they're getting. If they got 100 followers or 100 plays per month, seriously, if you want to compare that to your fucking APRA plays, it's comparable. You're getting fuck all out of that too. So all that is no different to radio play, to all those things. You've still got to actually get people to get interested in your product, to spend money on you, to go and see your shows, to buy your merch. That has not changed. This is just another platform to allow you to do that.
And my question to you was going to be exactly that, and I think you just answered it when you said that the music is a business card. If an
I don't
artist,
agree with that, by the way, but it is what it is.
No, you're just stating how you see it, and I understand you don't necessarily agree with it. My question was going to be, if the music is the calling card or the business card that gets you in the door, if you wanted to be an artist making an income from being an artist, is it ticket sales? What is it that actually generates income?
Ticket sales, merch sales, things like licensing. The next big thing for me, in my opinion, is bands licensing their songs. So, for example, look at the online gaming world. Online gaming and online animation, they are the two fastest growing industries in the world right now, and they're not showing any signs of stopping, because every fucking kid and their dogs are on gaming. And I mean this.
Yeah.
So if they can get the royalty payments sorted out for online gaming, like there's got e-gaming is so big that the AFL teams are now making e-gaming sports teams. I don't know if you're up to date on that too, but even the AFL are getting into e-gaming. Like I said, this is going for a long time. It's not going to TV, it's going to YouTube. But
that's it for the Hard Rock Show.
But if esports is such a big thing, then bands need to find a way to get into that, because there is millions of dollars in that market that's untapped. If you go through YouTube comments and go how many people say, there's a trend on YouTube comments now to say, so-and-so brought me here.
Yes,
and they'll
yes.
say a video game brought them here.
Yes.
Yeah,
This and that
yeah.
brought them here. That is how kids find music these days, is via video games and via TV shows and things they're watching online on demand. So licensing agreements for your music versus handing over all your rights and royalties are the next thing to make money out of. Because then if you can negotiate to take points like you used to do with Sir Alec Guinness negotiated for points. He didn't want a direct payment to do Star Wars. He said, I'll take 1% because I'll do this as like a fucking swan song thing. Made more money than any other fucking movie ever done because he took points on it, a percentage of the profit versus taking a one-up payment. If you negotiate down those terms, which is not new to the industry at all, then that's how you think of it. Don't think of the short-term gain. Think about how you set yourself up long-term. So your merch, your ticket sales, your licensing, where you can put your music to be heard by people that are actually going to use it for jingles, fucking whatever else. That's where advertising is not going to go away. So how do you get your song to be used in advertising? Those things are all there. They've always been there. That doesn't change.
Yeah.
There are still ways to make money out of music. That's why songwriters make more money than the actual artists.
Yeah.
All those things are there. They haven't changed. They haven't gone away. You've just got another platform to use, and that's where Spotify is good for. Same with Apple Music. So I don't know if I've changed your mind at all, but at least hopefully for those people that are fucking so anti-Spotify, it's not funny, open your mind a little bit. Because the market dictates it anyway. I've said that a few times, but that's not going to change.
Interesting,
If
Andrew.
you're
Very
like a
interesting.
band that's got a Spotify account, can you tell whereabouts in the world
Yes,
your
you
song?
can.
You can.
Ragdoll have been putting up posts saying where their top listeners are right now, so you can use it to gauge where to tour next.
That'd be really interesting because I'd like to know. Like, we all bang on about the local scene in Melbourne. I don't know shit about Sydney.
Yeah.
It'd be like fucking Finland and be going on about their bands, and like one or two might be influencing Australia. I know a couple of them.
Yeah.
But then you got a couple in America, like fucking Kilco. Their social media, they're right on. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But then there'd be a whole bunch in fucking Seattle or something. I don't know what the hell they're doing. So is Spotify getting it out to different countries, or are people just going in their own
I
circle?
think it comes down to because the more you listen to Spotify, the more it shows you what fits into your line of thinking, sort of thing. So same with YouTube, for example. The more you use YouTube, the more, or Netflix or anything else like that, all those algorithms are set up because they want you to stay on their platform.
Yeah.
So they
Right.
treat.
I've noticed that.
Understand that Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, all the platforms are the same. They are like great big fucking poker machines. They want you to stay with their platform. That's exactly how to look at it. So if you understand the game that's being played with you as the consumer, then you as the consumer or the artist can then use the game to suit your advantages more. So the more you use a product while you might be against it, the more it actually benefits you because you're able to get more of what you would be interested in out of that. So actually, instead of looking at things like Spotify and YouTube as the devil, actually investigate the platform and the actual applications and uses for it. Like I said before, you didn't know that touring and merch was on sale on
no idea.
on Spotify. Does that change the game for you guys a little bit? You know,
We'll make me look at it.
well, see, okay, fine. You know, so it doesn't matter. Like if even, and I didn't actually set it up at all. It was just a case of because there are all these things that are so already in the wiring of it all, so to speak. The Hard Rock Show's End of Year Extravaganza, I had to go and actually change things when our lineup changed to get our lineup adapted to suit what it was because it was showing up in Spotify with the wrong lineup, the old lineup.
Wow.
Fuck. So when a band uploads a song, they'd have to tag it pretty much to the letter of what it is, so they would be piggybacked
That's
on
I was
something
thinking
that's
that
where
exact
bands,
thought.
but bands should already be
You have to
aware of that anyway.
articulate with what
Yeah.
you represent.
But if you want to exist in this day and age, you need to be on top of that anyway.
Is it like YouTube where you have to have a certain amount of followers or numbers before you start getting recommended? So
No.
Spotify's
Like
actually better
I've
than
found
YouTube.
artists that have fuck all following, fuck all listening, fuck all anything, and I found them because of the music links.
Okay, so
Because
Spotify might actually be better
If
than
I'm listening to
YouTube.
this and you're listening to this and this person's listening to this and all of a sudden they all cross over on this artist and they actually spin, because Spotify will tell you how many songs you skipped in a year. Right, I got my year-long stats and
Yeah.
it tells me how many songs I skipped for the year. So if you're listening to a song all the way through, or if you skip it, it acknowledges what you're doing. So you as the consumer influence what you're getting out of it. So if you skip a song, it goes, okay, I don't like that one. We want to keep you on our platform, so let's give you something you want next. And so the more people, the thing is that the way
scary in a way.
but it's
It
already
knows you.
here.
I know, Big
Yeah.
Brother again.
It's already, Big Brother has been with us for
Yeah.
fucking 10 years.
I know.
Okay,
But this is just another manifestation of it.
so you can fucking forget that shit. It's already well and truly, that genie's out of the fucking Pandora's box is well and truly open, folks. But fuck, this is going for hours.
Can I vape on this because it's going to
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you.
I'm the only one that seems to be really investigative of what it is. So all these people that go bang, 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 and I'm sitting there going, get a hold of the platform first before you go and can the fuck out of it, because everyone's talking about the money. Money, 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 money. And this is where it comes out of the artist mentality of, do you want to be famous or do you want to be good? Do you want to make a living or do you get really, really rich? If you want to get really, really rich, you're going to sell everything you fucking got, sell your soul, a whole lot of it to get whatever the fuck you can. If you want to be good and make a living, different world. Use Patreon, use your streaming, use YouTube, use your merch, use touring. Be smart about how you do it, which means actually investigating your analytics and knowing where to plug your next tour. So if you know that you're big in Spain right now, fucking do a tour in Spain. Don't tour fucking Wangaratta, it's not going to fucking grow your audience. This is where it comes down to effort versus reward for everything you do, not just for your music and all that sort of shit. It just comes down to effort versus reward. So if you know that touring 500 metres down the road is not going to do shit for you, but it's easy for you, so you're going to do it anyway, you're not going to fucking cut it. You'll keep doing the same pub dive gigs for the next 20 years and you wonder why you never fucking made it, because you weren't paying enough attention to what the actual market is asking of you to do.
I'm assuming that Apple Music is exactly the same. Because I don't use Spotify.
No, but it'll be the same. I don't know enough in... Apple Music would have evolved to keep up with Spotify.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So I'm assuming that if you went through Apple Music account, or if I went through Jodie's Apple Music account, I'd find things like merch on sale or whatever else have you.
Right.
It's more on the computer platform than it is on the mobile platform, but it's there.
Yeah.
And if it's on the PC or Mac platform, it'll eventually get completely integrated into the app platform anyway, because that's where everything's going anyway. Right. And this is the thing, right? This fucking thing, right? This fucking thing is an industrial revolution that's already well and truly underway. Okay? Where are the kids today? You go home, where are your kids? What are they doing?
Yeah, on the phones.
iPads, phones.
iPads, phones.
Right. So if your music is not there,
you're an idiot.
How are you going to get it heard? Because whilst the older people may support you and go, fucking fly the flag, how long is that going to last? Because guarantee your generation turnover will fucking kill you faster than anything else.
Music used to come on a wax cylinder many fucking years ago.
Yeah,
and it became vinyl or 8-track tapes. And
that was evolve. A lot of the...
vinyl is great.
The commentary that they were saying is that it doesn't matter. CDs with the devil, you know? Yeah. It doesn't matter what.
Everything is
changes. Everything's the devil. Exactly right. So I guess for me, it was just about the payment to the artist. That is the thing I stress out about.
This is where artists need to look at the contracts they sign before they're going to do anything else. And that's again, so much more of this now is incumbent on the artist, or to have good A&R representatives, which you don't have anymore. The reason why this is happening is because we've lost the A&R side.
But if you're an unsigned band and you're releasing an EP or something of your own, you can't dictate to Spotify, for example, what they should be paying you.
No.
You don't have the power.
No.
So you've got to take whatever Spotify's paying you, which is 0.0000 whatever.
Right, true. But that's because Spotify also has to be a viable business. Now, I don't agree with Spotify executives being paid tens of millions of dollars while artists are getting small amounts. I think they need to restructure the payment plan. This is not about... I'm not saying I agree with Spotify's payment plan for artists. I think that's wrong because they're the ones providing the content.
Yes.
But that also comes down to a generational shift in bands moving away from the labels, which currently dictate about 60 to 90% of Spotify's control.
Right.
So if the bands move away from labels, and the current label being Sony, Warner, and I forget the other big one, Universal, that's it. So those three big labels, and as much as I love them, they send us the music, so fine, great, keep sending us music. But from a fundamental business point of view for the artists, don't sign with those labels.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, right, the biggest thing, the killer in that regard is that bands are signing to labels that are fucking dictated to by stockholders. By the share market. As soon as you sign to an entity that is financially driven and not creatively driven, you are fucked. You said before, we've said before when we did the Thin Lizzy stuff, they took their fifth album, right? No band today would get that.
No way.
They get one album, it doesn't work, you might get a second one
in some cases.
Right? And we're talking about labels Sony, Universal, and Warner that are signing the Cash Me Outside girl because they know that'll make money for them on the advertising revenue that comes out of Spotify, YouTube, and all that, and Pandora, and all those kind of things.
Producing the music for them is cheap.
That
costs nothing. I mean,
because you've got auto-tune, you've got all those things.
But even that,
wants to say people will buy.
Even if you get the biggest artist in the world, you get Rihanna. Producing the album
was that shit?
is cheap.
Just saying.
But the promotional machine that gets behind it, that shit's expensive.
Yeah.
So it's when they don't get their payback on that. I mean, anyone can get in the studio and make that music. We know that.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone can do it.
It happens here.
It happens all the time. but the promotional bandwagon that has to get rolling behind it. That's a whole other kettle of fish.
But that's where we're in a different age now, where we have the social media at the hands of the artists. And artists are using, are you on Spotify? Play us on Spotify. As opposed to, don't play us Spotify because we get 1,000,000,001 of the fucking cent every time it plays. Who gives a fuck? Because the point is, it's about mass consumption versus small numerical consumption.
Interesting.
Very Spotify is for mass consumption. Then you turn 5 to 10% of that maybe into bigger sales with things like your vinyl, your merch, your ticket sales.
Yeah.
But you got to get it out there first. You can have the best song in the world. You got the best song of all time. You got to have fucking tribute, right? But if no one hears it, it is like it seriously is like the line in a song. Like this is not that song. This is just a tribute to that song because they don't fucking. No one had that song down, so no one will ever hear the greatest song in the world. They only hear the tribute to it.
Yep.
That's because it was written with Jimmy's pen.
But and this is where I know that this has gone for fucking half an hour, but it's seriously...
This is an episode,
People bang on about fucking Spotify and streaming services and all these things. It's not the individual platform that's the devil. Learn to use it properly and it's fine. It's the agreements you sign in the process to get to that point.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's, again, like I said, when it comes down to that, it becomes about mass consumption. So you got to worry about growing your audience, which means producing. Like, I'm not a fan of King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard, but they put out fucking 5 albums in 12 months, and look at the fucking profile that's getting them right now. They're huge. Everyone fucking loves them, to the point where I put up a post on it and people were thinking I was bagging them. It's like, no, I just wanted to ask a question. Is it too much or is it fine? And consumers are taking that volume now. If consumers are taking 5 albums from an artist in a year and they're all saying it's fucking great, I haven't listened to them, but if people are consuming it...
Toe Hider's on the same thing.
They're doing a song a week.
Yeah.
We had...
Is it 49 songs you have to listen to? Yeah.
Patreon.
Dave from Destroy, she said, did a song a week for a year. You know, again, through Patreon and all that sort of stuff. Use the platforms that are out there as opposed to bickering against... You're not going to beat the system.
No.
So use the system to your advantage. Be smart about how you play the game. Don't fucking hate it. You're not going to win.
Very much food for thought.
Well, that was the Hard Rock Show for this week.
Yeah, commercial.
Drink up.
Where's my sponsors?
Sorry, I don't know. But give us your thoughts out there too. Like, I mean this. Genuinely give us your thoughts, because I know I don't have the only opinion on this. I might have a very broad opinion on this, and obviously a very vocal opinion on this, but I just see it all the time. People are bagging it, and it's like, well, use it properly, and it's fine. Like I said, it comes down to people crossing over. It's a platform that they want people to stay on there. So if bands are worried about using Spotify, then use it as a social media tool versus a money-making tool. Changes your entire outlook on the platform and allow it to grow your audience, which is what you need to do anyway. Because 100 people in Melbourne aren't going to support you in a career.
No.
True.
Definitely not.
No.
So... that's my 2 cents on it. And look into things like advertising and negotiating terms for your music, the content you create.
2 cents, that's a lot of Spotify plays to get 2 cents.
It is a lot of
Spotify plays.
It's about as long as this fucking review, this topic is anyway. But anyway, I'll wrap it up there unless anyone else has anything to add to that. But I think we should move on to the rest of this episode now. Give us your thoughts on social media, because that's exactly where this is going right now.